The mood is somber in the United Kingdom. The country's longest reigning monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, will be laid to rest today, alongside her late husband, Prince Philip. The state funeral will begin at 11 a.m. local time, where the Queen's coffin will be taken from Westminster Abbey to St. George's Chapel in Windsor. Nearly 2,000 dignitaries from across the world will be in attendance at the grand ceremony. The world leaders and the foreign royals will join members of the royal family. British prime ministers, past and the present, and key figures from public life for the service will also be in attendance during the final farewell. The two great-grandchildren, George and Charlotte, the two royal kids, will follow their parents, the Prince and Princess of Wales, as the coffin is carried through the Abbey. The day of the state funeral has been declared a national holiday in the United Kingdom. A number of stores and businesses have announced that they will remain shut today to pay their respects to the Queen. Schools will also remain closed. Officials say that the state funeral is the biggest security operation in the United Kingdom that the country has seen since the World War II, while some suggest that this might be the biggest ever. Security has been ramped up near the Windsor Castle and along the route of the Queen's final journey. The British security officials say that they have deployed private guards, specialist officers, as well as surveillance drones to ensure that the highest level of safety is maintained. In central London, the lying-in state is in its last few hours. The Queen's coffin will be open for public until 6:30 a.m. GMT. In the past 4 days, people have been queuing for at least 10 to 12 hours per day to pay their respects to the late Queen.
You can cross over and then come around this way.
I think like waiting that long, especially it's the last day, it's the last few hours, like how do you feel about that?
That's what makes it more important, because tomorrow the Queen will be buried, so it's the last chance to see the Queen, so I'm willing to wait that long, and yeah, finally.
And ahead of the final farewell, King Charles III thanked the people. The king said that he was moved beyond measure by the number of people who have come to pay their respects to his mother. The Queen Consort Camilla also released her tribute to the Queen and her mother-in-law.
She has been part of our lives forever. I'm 75 now, and I can't remember anybody except the Queen being there. It must have been so difficult for her being a solitary woman. There weren't women prime ministers or women presidents. She was the only one, so I think she carved her own role. She's got those wonderful blue eyes that when she smiles, they light up her whole face. I'll always remember that smile. That smile is unforgettable.
Now, on Sunday, a minute of silence was held across the United Kingdom in memory of the late Queen. UK Prime Minister Liz Truss joined thousands of Britons in observing a minute's silence for Queen Elizabeth II at 8 p.m. local time. It was marked by the striking of Big Ben. Meanwhile, the world leaders have started arriving in London over the weekend for the biggest British event in recent history. US President Joe Biden, Indian President Draupadi Murmu, French President Emmanuel Macron, the Chinese Vice President and several other leaders paid their respects to the Queen at Westminster Hall on Sunday.
When the Queen had us to the castle for tea and we were joking crimpets, she kept offering me more. I kept eating everything she put in front of me. But she was the same in person as her image. Decent, honorable, and all about service.
The leaders then headed to the Buckingham Palace, where King Charles III hosted a reception on the eve of the state's funeral. At the age of 96, Queen Elizabeth II passed away on the 8th of September at the Balmoral Castle. She was surrounded by two of her kids, King Charles and Princess Royal Anne, during her last moments.